Morning. Okay, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of May 14th, 2019. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Lance?
Yes. Okay, and Jerry?
On May 16th, I concurred with the Newberry Township trustees in not requesting a hearing on the liquor license being requested by the Geauga Park District Clubhouse, patio, storage building, and golf located at 14085 Ravenna Road, Newberry Township. And for water resources, I approved an executed service contract agreement with Geauga Coatings to perform concrete leveling of the floor at the Kimberly Estates wastewater treatment plant within the department during the year 2019 in an amount not to exceed $4,900. And on May 21st, I approved for the Department of Development granted permission to advertise the whole public hearing number 2 for the Community Development Block Grant Plan Year 2019 allocation grant program to be held on Tuesday, June 4th, 2019 at 9:15 a.m. Notice of this public hearing will be advertised on May 23rd and on the county website.
Jerry, did you say that you would kind of narrow that down, what they favorite?
Yes, we went
Yeah.
through and narrowed it down to the 5.
Okay.
Then they're listed and they had to be listed in the public notice.
Okay.
That's why we had you guys authorize
Yep.
me to approve that.
Okay.
And then we, there's 3 alternate projects as well that we included in the notice. That's the notice itself.
There was a recommendation to go ahead and include the next 3, just in case for some reason. the
That
state-
something fell through?
The state denied
Okay.
the first 5.
Okay. That looks good. Okay, very well.
Financials.
Financials, are you doing?
You need-
No.
Since I approved this on
Okay.
Tuesday, since there wasn't session on Tuesday. So the financials for, was it May 21st?
Oh, okay.
There
Okay.
was a cash transfer from the general fund to the airport construction fund for the grant match on the runway lighting and safety improvements project. Encumbrances included a travel request from the auditor's office to attend the Ohio Association of Public Treasurers Association Fiscal Officer Training Program. It's a nice long.
See that fast, right there.
Yeah. Travel request from the Common Pleas Court to attend BCS Training Institute on Standards, Intelligrants, and Web Systems. And travel encumbrance from the engineer's office to attend the CEAO's Land Records Modernization Conference. The vouchers included $6,824 from the auditor's office to the Treasurer, State of Ohio, for expenses related to the 2018 audit and financial report. There were several items that were starred in the voucher. It was total $4,467.41. The vouchers, they were submitted from the juvenile court with incorrect GL dates, which the court refused to change, and needed to be manually added to the journal edit list due to the court trying to change the process that they have followed for the last, X number of years. I don't know, for as long as I know, and before, from sending those financials through the commissioners' sessions. Voucher of $90,273.04 from the Sheriff's Office to Motorola Solutions for the 800 megahertz system annual tower service contract. $32,115 from Water Resources to GPD for engineering services related to the Chardon Township wastewater treatment project and collection system.
Okay, a couple questions. So the Water Resources, for the engineer services, that project, I saw the EPA sent their,
That was the revised finals and findings.
That you
of orders.
signed, yes.
okay,
Yeah, they had, that had to be, the initial final date that had to be done by was May of.
did we file for an extension?
We requested an extension on it, they granted. Yes.
Okay. And, so the, engineering services, that will come from Water Resources
Yes.
budget then?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
In-
actually, I think
in the-
there's an item on the
There's 2
agenda
items
where
on the
we're,
agenda about that today.
yeah.
Okay. And then, just to clarify, the vouchers submitted by the juvenile court with incorrect G and L dates. What is G and L dates?
That's the general ledger date.
general ledger
When
dates.
they submitted it, they were submitting it to the auditor's office to be paid directly from the auditor's office.
So it wasn't coming through
So
commissioner's
it wasn't gonna come
financials?
through commissioner's financials, even though those type of payments have always come through the commissioner's financials. So we-
Forever.
For as far as I know, yeah.
And is that by statute, by law, that they come through the commissioners?
There's statute and law
Yeah.
that declared, that shows how that's.
And what would the
supposed
purpose
to
be of trying to exclude the commissioners from that?
I think they have taken a different view of what the law actually says.
Mm-hmm.
There's one section of the law that says that upon a court order, and it's for their probate doing business fund. There's one fund that does state in the Ohio Revised Code that upon a court order from the court, the auditor shall pay that bill. All the other ones that just reference to a fund, and the only way to get money out of that fund is through a court order. So they're trying to say that that initial probate one that references that a court order the auditor should pay, they're making the assumption that all the other sections of the Ohio Revised Code that mention that court order
Mhm.
the auditor should just directly pay. So that's how they presented those to the auditor. And
And-
between discussions with myself and the auditor, I said, no,
Okay.
we'll check, we're checking with legal counsel on the validity of their argument.
Yeah.
But until we hear that their argument is a valid argument, we're gonna continue to do it the way we've been doing this.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. And how did you become aware of it? Did the auditor tell you that it just?
It was a
direct
discussion with
order?
the auditor about
Yeah.
it, because they had submitted those bills differently than they had in the past.
Okay,
So he brought it to my attention, and
Interesting.
in our discussion, we decided.
and I assume this is
Keep going the way we-
part of the ongoing issue with the auditor and the
Yes.
juvenile
Yeah,
court judge?
with the oversight.
Yeah,
The
okay.
auditor's putting
They're trying to change the process
Mm.
and put them to jury cards.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would certainly say I'm no legal mind, but whatever the checks and balances of this office are, we're looking to do no more or no less.
Right.
You know, but whatever, that's the whole point of having separation of powers, which we're reminded on a weekly basis of those differences, but there is a role that the commissioner's office plays in this process. you
Correct,
know.
and even if we do find through the legal counsel that says that, yes, the way they want to do it is correct, what I will request of the auditor's office is for them to still submit to us for knowledge, not necessarily for review or for approval, but just for knowledge what funds are being paid directly through there.
You're right.
So that way the commissioners still have the opportunity to look at it and say, yeah, this is what when we approved the budget, this is what we assumed that it was being used for.
Correct. And just to be clear, these dollars that were requested were coming out of the general fund, or were this out of their special?
I believe most
fee?
of them were out of some of their special funds.
Special funds,
Yeah.
okay. And those special funds are generated through the court, like through fees and
Through
fines?
fees and fines and grants.
Okay.
So-
And then they'll what, turn
So-
those dollars around to special projects or to buy who knows what?
Correct.
So,
It could
yeah.
be, buying, they could be buying stationery, they could be, I think they did the good deed signs through those, I could be wrong with
Yeah.
that, but that.
Okay.
I believe that.
Okay.
Those funds came through there, so
But-
it allows them to do, some things that aren't, they're not spending general fund money.
Right.
They are still, spending in some way out of those funds taxpayer money, because it's, some of those funds are grant funds that they're getting from the state or from.
Yeah, I mean, you could even argue that the fees and fines are generated on the back of the taxpayer's investment, like even just the physical chair you sit in the court that you work out of, that is,
Right.
you wouldn't be doing that
There's an
without the
argument that
tax
could be
dollars.
made for that,
Yeah,
correct, right.
you know. Well, remains to be seen, but, I would say that and I appreciate you guys catching this, but, like I'll repeat it, whatever the function of this office is, we're not gonna bend to some other type of rule, So I appreciate that. Okay, so any other questions with the financials? Those have been approved, so we don't need to make a motion there. Okay. Okay, so, engineer, Nick, thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. Item 4 on the agenda, upon further review of the deed that we saved for the mortgage deed for the maintenance guarantees, we had an incorrect volume and page number. We referenced the correct sublot, but somehow we missed the volume and page number. And
Okay.
so this mortgage deed that you have in front of you will replace the one previously accepted. It was caught by both the title agency and, after the fact, before it was
Sure.
recorded. So
Okay.
it's just a request to accept and execute the corrected mortgage deed.
So do you need us to change this?
This is different.
This is-
Okay.
It's the next item.
This is
Okay.
the next item now.
Okay. Motion, please.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
The other item 5 on here is requesting the board approve and execute the title sheet for the improvement plans for McFarland Woods subdivision Phase 2 in Bainbridge Township. This is the second phase of McFarland Woods. This is actually an extension off of Tulip Lane from 306, so it's on the other side of the plans have been approved, reviewed, and approved by Joe Cattell. They were actually approved by Joe in September of last year. We actually held these plans until the developer actually surfaced
Okay.
Phase 1, so that we had something to, other than the bonds that he really wanted, we kind of held him on so he could get it done. And they finished surfacing that project a few weeks ago.
Okay, motion, please.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Today's the 23rd, right?
Wait.
You just did it. Today is the 23rd. I'm sorry.
Morning, Jeff.
Hello.
The
All right,
rubber
Jim.
band is down there.
Okay. There you go. Copy all around those, that wouldn't be good. No.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll send you a letter with you.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Did you guys have some bid over yesterday? Yes, sir. Yeah.
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 We did Wilson Mills Road and Cades Road.
Okay.
2 bids on each. One from Nick and
Just two?
just the 2. Next week we do Kyle.
Okay. Morning.
Good morning.
Great. I appreciate you coming in.
I hope you guys have,
Yeah.
do we have the right resolution?
We do.
Yeah, yes.
And it's signed off by Susan. So
Excellent.
we got that all taken care of.
Okay, so this is in regards to the upcoming renewal, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and if you want to
Yeah.
just
it's
maybe
a-
give us a little history and background on
Absolutely.
what you're working towards here.
It's a 7/10 mill levy. It's been on, passed by Geauga voters the first time in 1989, so it's been around a while. This is the second time it'll be up for a renewal, so by the time this comes around the third time, it'll be 15 years at the same rate, same collection. It's the same, we actually have 2 levies, one's a half mill, and that's the same on the other levy as well. That's on the 15-year cycle, basically, for any new money. So the board looked at this in the April board meeting and passed a resolution to ask the commissioners to place it on the November ballot. This is the last time it can go on the ballot for collection in 2020. We just did a search for a database, actually. We have over 7,500 Geauga County residents receiving clinical mental health services of some kind or another. We also have about, well, we get to the number 12,000 pretty quickly with prevention education. Last night, actually, our committees met there. The agencies are putting in for bids for this next fiscal year, which starts July 1st. So we actually had Catholic Charities, Family Pride, and who else was there last night? Oh yeah, NAMI Geauga was there last night. And we're funding a program for early childhood intervention with Catholic Charities that reaches 1,600 kids every year. They're seeing, I think she said they were seeing about 1,100 kids a week in that program. Yeah, through 70-some classrooms throughout Geauga County.
So do you go back out to bid with those?
Yep, absolutely, yeah, and so we get packets, we have a line of bids about that wide that have to be read and reviewed for financials for.
So do you have anyone else bidding on that? Or is it more than one?
Oh, yeah, we have, so there's these, I don't know that this year we have anybody new bidding, however, we actually are bringing on some new agencies. Red Tulip is being funded this year for the first time. We got a grant to fund them for housing. We also got there's a program out of the Sheriff's Department and out of Chardon Police Department that's a pilot. It's called Quick Response Team. We got some grant funding to do that. The idea is to go out within 24 to 72 hours of someone that's had an overdose and engage them, try to get them into treatment, give them options about where they can go. And we're also involved for the first time with the drug court, with Carolyn Paschke's court. We have some funds to help them incentivize reaching goals for people that are involved in the new drug court coming up this summer. So those are all great.
Is that grant money? Or
It is.
Yeah.
So I attached, and I don't know if they're copied, I just realized. I attached this summary for you guys, because this has just happened in the last 3 months. We've been awarded a total of about $664,000 in grants, in competitive grants over the last 3 months for opioids specifically. And so that runs the gamut, whether it's prevention, whether it's housing, whether it's residential treatment, peer supports, all those. So we brought in some substantial dollars in just the last 3 months in competitive grants through the state. Those are being, this first one shows you kind of how that was, how those monies will be spread for the first round, the $430,000. Then the second round, the housing grant is $150,000, and then just last Friday we got another award for about $84,000. So we've been trying to keep the local levies flat as much as possible, but go out and try to get some of these new dollars that are available.
So back to the levy, the
Yep.
the 0.7, what will that generate?
Yeah, it's like 3 point. So it's at the 3. Let's see, this goes down. Jim's got this all figured out, I guess. 3.6, I guess, at this point.
Okay.
We have 2, like I said, so I'm not sure, honestly, on this one, how he's got it broken down. I didn't realize he may have both of them on here. But they represent, the 3.6 is both, because it represents about 65%, 60 to 65% of our total budget.
Yeah.
We'll be a little over $6 million this year.
And what's the other levy?
It's a 5/10, and it can only be used for mental health. This 7/10 can be used for both mental health and drug and alcohol services.
Okay. So the total budget is what, roughly maybe say 6 or something?
Yeah, we're gonna get probably around 6.1 this year altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, the governor did say that there's gonna be more for drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, I hope that's true. I mean, I really am, we're all kind of paying attention to that budget and how it makes its way through the House and Senate, because that would be some really important dollars to make available. So, and a lot, it looks like there may be more money. We've been working a lot with the schools lately. We worked with, we've had some programs with Geauga Growth Partnership and some of their stuff. So we've reached out to the business community, and now we're doing quite a bit with the school superintendents.
So the last time you went out for a mental health levy was when again? 07?
So the last time we went out with the .5 was on in 17. I think the fall of 16 was the .5.
Okay. And you have no continuous levies at all?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah, I was, my mistake, I had to do a little research when I read the agenda the other day. I was kind of caught off guard. I saw that it said, declaring it necessary to levy a tax increase or in excess of the 10 mil limitation. I was thinking 10 mil limitation. I was like, what is going on? Like, I didn't, 10 mil. Yeah, right.
I've done this a long time,
Yeah.
I still don't understand it.
Yeah. And, but it kind of raises the question, and this isn't specific to your request of the levy, is that a hard stop? Is that 10 mil number, is that something that the county should be saying, we're getting, or is it just a rubber stamp and we just forge ahead and keep plowing forward with levy after levy after levy? It raises the question to me. I'd like to see, a little more concerted thought process when we're talking about levies out there, so seeing what the entire picture looks like instead of 16 different agencies running in 16 different directions. It'd be nice to see what our priorities are before we go off putting new shiny rims on the car. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's just, I saw this 10 mil limitation. I didn't know if that was just a arbitrary number that we had opposed on ourselves, or if that is revised code, or what is that?
It's revised code, yeah.
Okay.
The 12 years that I've been here, basically, this is the same language that's on every single.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Approximately how much will the Red Tulip project receive?
Oh, you know what? That's on the back of the sheet, Jim.
Yeah,
okay. But just for clarification, that's,
I think it's in the, no, I can't say off the top of my head.
yeah, that's
Sorry.
But this would be the first time that program has received any
It is. Yeah,
dollars
it
at all,
is.
because it's 100% private money put on by that committee and
Yeah.
everything else, so it's.
And they meet all of our criteria, there's some there's a lot of criteria to get board funding and state funding in this case. These will be federal dollars that flow through, so.
Just one other question. When you are going back out for bids, do you go through and see how they've performed for you over
Yes.
the past? I mean, there's some
Absolutely.
parameters, and you can grade them and see, this group has been successful, and this one maybe not so much. We should look for somebody else, or
Yeah,
how
and
does
what
that
happens
work?
is, so at the front end,
Mhm.
they have to tell us how they're going to measure those programs.
Mhm.
Everything has to have an outcome. And at the back end, so now that we're going to, we're in a renewal process for the bids, so in their packet, they are required to report on the outcomes that they told us at the beginning of the contract, what they were going to do.
Mhm.
And so we have several years of data on
Okay.
each one of those programs in every agency, in every program. So there's a lot of information in there
Mhm.
about, what's happening in each one. They have to use evidence-based practices as identified by SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration, and they have to use outcome data that has been found valid and reliable.
I see.
So it meets certain national criteria.
Okay. And just, again, to rehash your board unanimously approved this going forward with
Yes.
this levy? Okay.
Yes.
Mhm. Okay. Was there a question?
Yeah,
Skip?
I did have one question, Jim, if you don't mind. I keep hearing dollars. Dollars don't solve problems. We know that because the Department of Education throws a gazillion dollars at education, it's gotten worse. The Just Say No program, we threw trillions of dollars at that, it didn't work. And so, when you talked, part of the question was answered when Tim asked about performance. But at some point in time, the taxpayers are going to expect that we're going to see a reduction in drugs, a reduction in the impacts to our society, and hopefully, and I've never seen it happen, maybe it will, reducing some of these programs. So we got a drug court that cost us money, it's gonna be an ongoing obligation, liability to the taxpayers. At some point in time, if we reduce things, we should do away with the programs when they're no longer needed. So within the mental health board, and you guys are kind of leaders in this area, are there mechanisms to track all of this so that the taxpayers know that their monies are spent on programs that are gonna work? And when the programs are no longer necessary, that we can start reducing some of that, the machine we put together?
Yeah, so it's a trade-off in some ways. So I'll give you a perfect example. When we started working on reducing state hospitalization 20 years ago, we had an individual in the state hospital that had been there for 26 years. We had another individual that had been there for 19 years, and one that had been there for 15 years. Now, each one of those individuals today, if they were still there, would cost, $500 to $600 per day, 365 days for 26 years. So what we do is we bring those individuals back, we put them in cheaper programs that can sustain them in the community. They also then can do employment, some can, some of our clients work in agencies, things like that. So, so the cost today, so last year, I believe the number of bed days compared to thousands 25 years ago was about 700. And so compare thousands of bed days at $550, $600 a day to 700 bed days at $550 a day. That's the value added piece that comes by having some of these programs in place. The thing about the drug court is a good example. Drug courts around the state and around the country. I mean, the reality is you're going to pay for those individuals to be in prison or in jail for 365 days, and some of them, 5 years or better. When in fact, if we do the drug courts, we put those programs into place in the drug courts, we get those people into treatment because they're not getting any treatment basically in prison. We put those people into treatment, they can be in that system for much cheaper than we're gonna put those people in jail for years and years and years.
But Jim, and I'm sorry if you don't mind, when somebody's in jail, they don't get treatment, but they're clean because they don't get drugs. And so in essence, there is treatment. It is a harsh treatment perhaps, some might consider, but they are off the drugs for the period of time that they're in jail. They may go back on the street and get back into the system, and there may be some discussion about doing that. But I've looked at the drug courts, and they don't appear to me to really save because their recidivism rate is so high coming out of the drug courts. But to say that there's no treatment in jail, that's true. There is no treatment, but there is a withdrawal, and they don't get the drug lawyer in jail. So.
Yeah.
But the recidivism rate coming out of jail is 10 times higher, I'll bet you, than anything that a drug court would have. So the recidivism in coming out of prison is virtually 90%. And so you don't have that. If I put somebody at Lake Geauga Center, if somebody's in Lake Geauga Center and goes to their residential treatment, they are clean a year later at a 70% rate. The national rates are half that. And so right off the bat, you know that there's a cost savings because those people aren't being arrested. It's not just the jail cost, it's the cost of increased in police support, increased cost in having those police on the street. It's an increased cost to courts. So the costs are multiplied by not having treatment. And the reality is, most people that are on drugs or whatever, statistics show only between 30 and 50% of those people ever walk into a treatment center. So it isn't a matter of reducing the number of people getting treatment. It's a matter of reducing the number of people that are in jail, that are in prison, that die because the cost to the economy of individuals that are overdosing, that's the cost that you see the savings in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. I think that answers my questions. Do you have any input or questions, anyone? Any questions? No? Okay, so if we could read number 6, please.
The Board of Mental Health and Recovery Services is requesting the Board approve and execute resolution number 19-60 declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting certification of the county auditor of the dollar amount generated at the request of the Geauga County Board of Mental Health and Recovery Services, as authorized by ORC 5705.03.191.221.25 and .26.
You're fast.
This is step one.
Okay,
So once we receive that certification from the auditor, then you guys will come back, and then they'll do step two, which then we'll
Right.
to put it on the ballot.
got it. Okay, very good. See, I'm learning something new every day here. Yeah.
There used to be only one step to this too, so you have added two over the years.
Yes. So moved. Second.
Commissioner Borak?
Yes.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you all.
Right, Jim.
It's like-
Take
Pleasure
care.
as always.
Yep. Okay, Department of Aging. Okay, Department of Aging. Yep, thank you.
Wake up, Karen.
How are you?
I'm sorry. Good morning.
I didn't see you hiding over there.
We'll catch up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so, we're requesting the board to approve the increase of hours for Magali? Rios? Magali, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Rios, part-time recreation and education assistant for up to 40 hours per week for the period of June 2nd, 2019 through August 9th, 2019. Okay, motion.
Number
Eight's the same.
8
Or
is the
eight.
same.
Yeah, 8 is the same.
Okay.
It's just a different person.
Okay, Department of Aging is requesting the board approve and increase the hours of Nathan Gordon, part-time recreation and education assistant for up to 40 hours per week for the period of June 2nd, 2019 through August 9th, 2019. The motion, please.
I so move.
Second.
Commissioner Borak?
Yes.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Thank you.
All set, thank you.
Okay.
Yep. Hey, Craig.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
There.
Okay.
All the paperwork.
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't know what it is that you're changing, so hopefully you can explain that.
Changes, there shouldn't be any changes. It's just to be an approval.
No, I know, but I don't know what what you're requesting them to approve.
Yeah. Here,
No, I know that part. There was nothing in there explaining what it is that you're asking them to approve.
oh,
The
okay.
change.
So, yeah, no, I'll explain all that part. So, one of the, as you guys know, JFS receives lots of different grant dollars, different funding sources. One of the larger sources that we receive funds for are Title $20, which are federal dollars that come through the state and then get administered to us. And Title $20 require a more formal process whereby we need to have a hearing, which we did. We advertise in the paper and allow those that are interested, that are kind of social service organizations in the community, that come to a hearing and ask for support through Title 20, because JFS is one of the organizations that can receive Title $20. We held that hearing, the transcripts are actually in there, and we have been receiving these funds for quite a long time. Support organizations like Chagrin Falls Park, another, Women's Safe, I'm just giving you examples of organizations that we support through these funds, and there really are minimal. Department of Aging actually receives some Title $20 to support transportation for seniors, and so it's been a pretty consistent amount. And so the next step after we have this hearing and we hear that testimony, and we have to submit what's called a county profile. It's a biannual grant. After we receive all that, then we have to submit a profile to the state to receive these dollars. And so we have to come here after we have that testimony and all that to ask for your support. And then we submit that paperwork to the state, and we will receive those funds.
So.
We have done this for years and years.
How
and
much are we
years.
talking, Craig?
Close, over a 2-year period. I believe you'll see there's 2 county profiles in there. I want to say each is close to $200,000 per annual.
So it's about 400 or
Mhm.
close to $500,000.
400, I think it's 400 and change over 2 years.
Yeah.
And so it's essentially, we're coming to you to get your approval to submit the county profile to the state to allow for us to receive the funds.
Okay. And so I guess some of the different agencies that apply to it, what's the history of them, or those? Have they been similar over the years? Or
Yeah, the only change to the county profile that we have from the last biennium that we had this is an increase to the Department of Aging.
Okay.
So we're increasing it because they actually ran out of their transportation vouchers. And we're actually amending this year's contract so we can allow for them to receive more vouchers because they actually already ran out of their vouchers for the current, this current year.
Okay.
That's the only change that we have from the last 2-year request.
What, so I see United Way is one of the.
That's for the helpline.
Helpline.
Yep.
211?
Yep.
Okay. And that's funded through, or now?
Partially through us. I mean, I
Okay.
think they receive funds from a number of organizations. We're one of the organizations that support that fund, or that project.
But that's specific to Geauga though,
Yep.
only, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sugar Falls Park
Yeah,
is another.
Women's Safe,
Yep, Women's Safe.
Department of Aging, just really just those 4 or 5, right? Yeah. Okay. And then the Chagrin Falls Park Community Center,
There's after-school education programs.
okay,
They have a social worker that kind of is supportive of the community to help them. You know, 'cause some of those folks do need some help to get to resources. So the social worker that kind of helps linking some of those folks, getting them out of their houses and helping them link to resources to support their families.
wasn't there talk of moving that or something, or was that the senior center down?
The senior center has moved.
Yeah, yeah.
There is
Okay.
no senior center down there
They
anymore.
moved out of there,
Mhm.
yeah.
Now I do know that Andrea, and there couldn't be really a better person now that is kind of leading that group down there, that Andrea Pollock. She's tremendous, and she's really doing a lot of changes down there, but they're trying to find right now, I know, a way to utilize that space. Now that the senior center's moved out of there, they're trying to figure out a way to, because it was a decent amount of space, and try to get some
Sure.
programming or something in there to help those folks.
Would,
Who owns that building?
I believe it's Family and Community Services.
and so would, our Family First Council, would they be able to receive these funding or no?
Would Family First Council be able to receive Title $20?
Yeah,
It,
maybe.
Well, no. Well, a lot of the Title 20 does have some TANF obligations that are tied to it. So 200% of federal poverty level, some other things. So it's not
Oh, okay,
really
okay.
it's not really the
Perfect
kind of funding.
fit,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And then, Geauga County Board of Mental Health and Recovery Services, so you'll be able to.
They receive separate Title 20. It's not farmed through us, but they receive separate Title 20 funding.
Okay. Very good. Any questions, comments? None? Okay, if we could get a reading on that, please.
The Department of Job and Family Services is requesting the board approve the recommendation of the Family Services Planning Committee for the proposed social services to be provided using Title 20 funds, and to further approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services Title 20 county profiles for the period October 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. Yep.
Christie, are you going to
Yeah, I can-
send that in her office? Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Good to
Thank you
see
so much. Yep, appreciate it.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning.
We have 2 items for the water department today. The first one is, we request that the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the OWDA Local Government Authority Payment Instruction Form in regards to the loan for technical services and land acquisition for the wastewater treatment plant in the Henry Road area.
Okay.
Sewers projects in Charlotte.
So we've changed locations, is that right? Or no?
No, there's,
Just trying to finalize
The deal?
the deal. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Still the corner property.
Okay.
still the burned down house.
How far away do you think, so we filed for the extension, when do you think it would, in reality, will get going?
We'll be turning dirt this year.
Okay, okay.
August, September.
Now, do you think, I know this has been, do you think there'll be any type of, our office has seen quite a few letters from the residents there looking for some type of assistance. I mean, do you think it's gonna be possible in any way to help, whether it's federal, states, or,
It's crisis with Geauga County.
Yeah.
People make too much money.
Yeah.
And we concluded the income survey for that subdivision,
Mm-hmm.
and we only made the 40% threshold, and we did 51%. And that would have provided us about $700 to $7,500 grant per household.
Mm.
We didn't qualify for that.
Mm.
And so we're still wrestling with the costs involved, the assessments we're gonna move forward with this year. Over the
Mhm.
next 2 months, there'll be a lot of activity with that. Working with Jerry quite a bit on those.
Mhm.
But, from our office, there's not much we can do unless we're willing, we're weighing the options, assuming some of the costs.
Mm-hmm.
But that's based on our revenue, since we're enterprise.
Is there any,
Be very careful.
is there any creative way to spread that investment out, to help relieve, at least the initial impact of that? Or how's that gonna, will it just, the rates will go up, or? how?
The assessment will be based over whatever the loan is that was taken out, so
Mhm.
whatever the years of the loan.
And we're looking at 30-year.
Okay.
Be spread out over that 30-year time. There are options to do, under the law, there are options to do a deferment for 5 years.
Mhm.
But all that does is basically just
Kick it, yeah.
take the 30 years and narrow it down to 25, and
Right.
but you don't have any payment for the first
And
5
does
years.
it-
So it actually increases your yearly.
Yeah, right.
income. So it's not really a benefit of doing anything. We've tried, and Steve's tried, I've tried when
Yeah.
I was there. I think we did those salary surveys 3 or 4 different times, trying to see if we could squeeze
Actually, this
some
time
way
we were
to get-
farther
And that was
away.
specific to that neighborhood and
Yes.
their.
Berkshire Heights.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
most of the funding sources that provide the grants don't look at unless, there's only certain ones that will allow you to even do a salary survey. They'll look at the census block or the township
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Narrow us down, they do. And, unfortunately, when we have these kind of projects, they're not in the 5 acre and 3 acre lots
Correct.
with the $500,000 houses on it. They're on the half acre to acre lots that were put in back in the 50s and that,
Well,
are
there
less
is,
expensive houses.
for the elderly residents, there is a USDA program
Mhm.
where they can get up to $7,500 in grant money. But then it have to be done on an individual basis.
Okay, they could apply through the USDA.
And we have
Okay.
that information on the website, we mail it out.
Make sure they know about that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's-
I've already had
and that's
2
over
meetings.
65 then, or?
I think it's 62.
62,
Actually,
okay.
and based on income. I've had 2
USGS.
Well,
DA.
USDA. We'll try and promote that, maybe let's get that out.
Oh, yeah. I've been
yeah.
I've done 2 presentations at townships in the meetings.
Okay.
And,
Maybe
Letting the
get some big
trustees
blue
know.
signs.
Yeah.
One of the issues with that though is that funding can't be applied for until the project started.
Finish,
So
okay.
it's, because they're not gonna
Sure.
approve something that might not happen. They wanna make sure it's
So,
happening.
I guess, what would, and I won't hold you to it, but what would the increase in your bill look like?
We're looking right now at the assessment being between $25,000 and $30,000 per house.
Per house, yeah, over 30 years.
Right.
Mhm.
It comes out to, I don't have the amortization table in front of me. It would, their sewer bill would be approximately every 2 months, $130.
Every 2 months. Mhm.
About $65 a month
Okay.
increase, and then the assessment every 6 months. Well, I don't know, it's about, yeah,
Oh, so there's an
The quick,
assessment on
easy
top?
math without really going through the assessment.
that's just the service.
That's just the service, and then the assessment,
covers the construction, the sewer line.
and how is that figured into the
It's
payment?
paid with their
That's based on
semi-annual
property taxes.
taxes.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's assessed to the property. so-
It couldn't be a way to
So-
work it into the monthly bill somehow, or would that, it wouldn't fit into
There could be, but it's gonna be, if you take the 25 to 28,000 and say 30 years with interest, just, quick, I'm not going through with the interest.
Okay.
but
It would
assume
put
it's
it-
about $500 every 6 months in
Right.
taxes, because it turns out to be about $1,000 a year.
Okay.
So it's probably, around $500. So if you take that and say.
Gotcha.
You're gonna wind up having their monthly bill's gonna be.
I see.
Things to offset that, like I said, does the county eat some of those costs? Are the residents able to get some of these grants? The elderly do. I'm certain
Yeah.
that they're eligible for the grants, there's no
Mhm.
doubt in my mind. But we're gonna have to help them apply. So
Mhm.
when the process starts, I've already worked with Jessica Bolt to go ahead and have maybe some counselors or their people help apply for
Yeah.
those grants.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we're doing what we can.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Mhm.
Because a lot of these grants are based on the community, and when you have a home with 5 people, 3 children, 2 working adults, and then
Mhm.
a home with perhaps an elderly lady that's living on Social Security, averaging it out,
The
they
way
lose out.
that's the other frustrating thing that's happened with this is the state grant programs have kind of changed how they determine the LMI, the low moderate incomes. They no longer do, years ago they did it by household. So if every household was kind of treated equally, now they do it by actual number of people within the service area. So a young family that has the husband and wife working and, 2 kids, they're not LMI, that's 4 people, they're kind of 4 people, not LMI.
Oh.
A senior, a widow
Yeah.
who is on Social Security who would be LMI is only 1. So their households aren't being treated equally, they're counting.
Huh.
No,
I mean,
I had an argument with a couple of people with
The
the state about
legislators,
that,
yeah.
but it's like, that's.
That's not
if you're
fair.
not treating- If you're gonna do that, you need to go and figure out what the income is for each individual in that household. So those kids who aren't working don't have any income.
Yeah, yeah.
They get
Right.
treated as
Yeah.
LMI.
so there is, I hate to bring that up, but there is one, as we go through the assessment process, there are consideration factors that can be taken.
Uh-huh.
But that's another discussion, and how you're going to divvy up the total assessment by parcel. The dilemma is, people buy and sell those houses. And,
Yeah.
the original owner might be replaced by a dual-income couple kids, and they're getting a reduced
Yeah.
assessment, so it's very complicated.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not getting
I would
letters.
imagine over the next 30 years, those houses will change hands quite a few times, I'm sure, right? I mean, it's gonna,
Mhm. They're in the process now, there are a few
Yeah.
houses in sale.
I mean, this was a warning lesson maybe of things to come, I mean, I fret to think of maybe some other potential neighborhoods in Geauga County where they may wanna do this,
With environmental laws and regulations getting a little more
Yeah, I mean-
strict.
And it's a discussion I've had with the previous health director and, the current health director, is really educating the citizens, the property owners in the county.
to maintain.
Proper
Yeah.
maintenance of your septic systems,
I mean-
because that's what forces this. A lot of those people didn't know they had to have their tank pumped out every year, and it never
Exactly.
got pumped out, so their tank now is full.
Exactly.
Every time they
I mean,
flush the
just-
toilet, it goes right out.
I mean,
into
look
the
at the,
common
just the
process.
service per month, it's $65 per month. I mean, as a homeowner, you need to be figuring that in to,
Correct.
maintaining your system, or this is, the EPA's in the wings waiting to
And
jump on
that's the other
this.
thing with this project, is the reason why we're doing it is because a majority of those septic systems are failing.
Right,
So if we weren't doing the sewer system, they'd be replacing their septic systems, and all of those, about 75% of those septic systems would have to become off-lot discharging
Right.
permitted, EPA permitted systems, which, you know,
114
they run anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000 to have put in. They're constantly running a blower in their
Yeah.
tanks so that it
Electricity,
treats it. They've
yeah.
got, you know, they have to have a yearly maintenance agreement. So there's those, you know, if we weren't doing this, we're at least, you know, it doesn't sound good, but we're at least able to spread that cost over 30 years.
Right.
Whereas they'd be up
I'm saying right now.
taking it right now,
Right.
either coming up with the money or getting a loan from a bank
Mm-hmm.
for that $20,000 to $30,000. So it's,
The odd thing, I've gotten phone calls off people that wanted to pay the assessment up front, so.
Oh, really?
Yes. So-
Do they get a break if they do? No? No interest?
well,
Well, if they do a lump sum
if they do
front,
up front,
they'll pay the interest.
then they don't have the interest charge because we don't have to take out that portion of the loan.
Okay.
There'll be a lot more in the next 4 months coming up.
Well, thank you.
So what are they currently paying now per month?
They pay nothing because they have their septic system.
Oh, that's right, they have their own.
Um,
Because I know in Broadwood, in Bergen, I think they pay $50 or maybe $60 a month each one of them.
It's usually around 60, 65. I mean, we don't have a uniform rate per se across the county. It depends on the area being served, the costs associated with the plant, so on and so forth, so. And you have received the letters, but all the information, I've got a copy of all the letters, or the originals, one of the two. Township trustees have all the information, they're well briefed, I keep them in the loop with emails, copy furnished, they're aware of the survey that failed, and I keep Jerry closely in the loop on that. So it is gonna be a tough time.
Mhm.
People are afraid. The second item,
Yeah,
sorry.
sure. Yeah, do you want to get a reading on that, please, Ken?
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and authorize the president and board to execute the Ohio Water Development Authority LGA payment construction form in regards to the OWDA loan for technical services and land for the Henning Road wastewater treatment plant and sewer project in Chardon Township.
I so moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
The next item we have is we're requesting the board approve and authorize the president to execute the fund payment request number 1 for the technical services for this wastewater treatment plant design and engineering, an amount of $32,115. And that's GPD Group. We're well into now the design phase.
Mhm.
The planning phase for the sewer and the installation of wastewater treatment.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye. Very good.
Last thing I have is I want to introduce my design engineer back there, Brian Croft.
Brian.
He's had to carry a lot of the weight since Jerry abandoned water resources.
Yeah.
Akron U grad, right?
Akron U engineer.
Okay.
You're in good company. Yeah.
One of the items I wanted to bring up with this is that, you know, these reimbursement requests
Yeah.
come in after that it's reimbursing for the loan. What we've done in the past is the commissioners have authorized the county administrator to sign off on the reimbursement request. It's already gone through the payment, the financials, and that by the time the reimbursement request goes to OWDA, so we can process them a little quicker.
Yeah.
The commissioners
Absolutely.
have authorized the
For sure.
county administrator
Yeah.
to do that. So
100%.
I wanted to
Yeah.
see if that's something.
We don't want to miss deadline or something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, the quicker we get it
Yep.
in, the quicker we get the money back.
100%.
To replace what we paid.
Yeah, I don't know,
Right now,
do you need to
we
make a
pay out.
motion to that, or do you want to read? Okay. You're so on top of it, yeah, she's already, yeah.
The
Step
Department
ahead.
of Water Resources is requesting the board authorize County Administrator Jerry Morgan pursuant to ORC 305.30, permission to approve and execute the Ohio Water Development Authority fund payment request for the OWDA loan for technical services and land in regard to the Henning Road wastewater treatment plant and sewers project, once the payment has been processed through financials for all remaining requests through the portion of the project.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
And once we get the project started, because there will be OPWC funds, we'll do the same thing.
That's right.
It's-
Yep.
Just speeds up that process.
100%.
Wait another week.
So quick on your toes,
The old
right?
PWC is about 50%.
No, OPWC was a 70-30 loan grant. That was the only thing they're getting $300,000 in grant.
Okay. Great.
Okay, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board Concur with the Burton Township trustees in not requesting the hearing of liquor license being requested by European Gourmet Almonds Incorporated, DBA Nectar of the Vine, located at 15010 Berkshire Industrial Parkway, Burton Township, see new 2582054. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Lenz?
Aye.
It has to be
Okay.
postmarked today, that's why I got it.
Okay, do you need us to sign anything?
Nope.
No, okay. Just a couple announcements. County offices will be closed in honor of Memorial Day on the 27th. We'll be back on the 30th for Commissioners' regular session at 9 a.m.
I missed planning commission on the 11th, at 7:30.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Okay,
So I'll add that on there.
okay. Planning Commission,
Busy day on the 11th.
Yeah.
Planning commission, regular session, agricultural society will be here.
Portage County Juvenile
And then we
Detention.
have detention center at 11:30, so
Yeah.
busy day.
I would, I would think we should probably try and set up some type of meeting with the judge about the detention center. I don't know if we could reach out to them and sit and talk about the future of what what he wants to do there, what he wants us to continue to do there.
Okay.
So I think we should talk about it.
And other options.
Yeah. So maybe within the next, week, we can set something up.
I'll get in touch with
Commissioner Lennon, I have a question too.
Yes, sir.
When you get a chance.
Well, yeah, sure.
Okay, just as an awareness thing.
Yep.
I'm the Vice President of the Chestnut Rotary, and we've started a conversation with Next Steps, Andrea Pollack, about things that the Rotary can do to help with the Next Step program. I just talked to Craig Swenson to invite him into that conversation. We have invited Judge Brindell, as a juvenile court judge, into the conversation. We've had a meeting. So we're looking at various ways that we can help this. It's an important program, the Next Step program.
Yep.
And so I'm making you aware of that. So if there's anybody else you want us to invite in or be involved in the conversation from the commissioner's office, that sort of thing, because you house them at the
County home.
And so if there's any involvement you guys want to have, let me know. And we are now having preliminary conversations about what the possibilities are and how we might help.
Great. Absolutely. Yeah, anything we can do to help there. I know they've been a good neighbor and tenant, working over at the Old County Home location. And, whatever we can do to help facilitate that. And, I don't know if there was discussion of maybe expanding their operation there, but I think for now they're fine with the location they're using and the size of it. I don't know how many they can technically house there right now, or.
Andrea actually approached me after a
Okay.
meeting last week about the possibility of maybe expanding
A little-
into the county.
Okay,
So I
okay.
hadn't had a chance to mention that.
Okay, I know they said something a while back, yeah.
So, in any case, and by the way, I would invite you, I don't need to invite Jim because he's already a member of the Rotary in Burton, but I would invite you to be a part of what's called now the West Geauga Chestnut Rotary Club.
Okay.
7 o'clock at Paganini's.
How often do you meet there?
Every Wednesday.
Oh, really? Okay.
We meet, have breakfast, talk about doing good things for the community and
Good.
so forth. So, but you're invited to participate in.
Thanks.
But if you have any thoughts in terms of ways that the Rotary might be able to help,
Yeah.
and part of our thought is to combine the Rotaries in Geauga County and do a unified effort. So,
Mhm.
So anyway, that's
Good.
an awareness thing, and if you want any involvement, let me know.
Very good. Okay, with that, any questions, comments? No? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.